What's going on, everybody? Just want to talk about 5 things I like. I wouldn't say I love, but that I like about the 4th gen Camaro. In the next video you'll see will be 5 things I hate about it. Number 1 would probably be just how wide they are right here in the fenders. So if you wanted to, or like I want to, bring your wheels out a little bit further, you got room up in the wheel well for it. This is the factory style wheel. These are actually wheels I purchased separately from the car. They're basically just the SS version of the wheels. This is a V6, by the way. Just better looking wheels. I wasn't going to bother with changing to a set of wheels as quick as I did, because these are pretty much the same except for they're chrome instead of silver. But that one back there was bent with the original wheels, so went ahead and changed these out. But I was thinking about doing like maybe 1-inch wheel spacers just to bring the wheels out, the meat of the tires straight out here to the fenders, so you can see a little more of it from the front and back of it as well. Number 2, I guess I'll just say T-tops. Last Camaros or anything to have T-tops, the Pontiac GTO, which I think lived up until like 2006, was the actual last thing to have T-tops. But yeah, the T-tops are great to have. I don't really like the design of them. They're really big and round and awkward. The 3rd gen and 2nd gen style T-tops are a little bit better. They're just square and flat. I like the look of them from the inside a lot more than these. But then again, I also have that preference for the older F-bodies or cars in general anyway. So, but T-tops are great. Glad I got them. Sometimes I hate them, but yeah. Number 3. All this space that's back here. Now the actual well down in here is actually for the T-tops. But I've got a cheap sub box here, and then you got this nice flat area right here of the rear axle. That's great for mounting stuff like this. So, although I easily could add that stuff in the fenders. Let me just go ahead and pull this off right quick. You can see there's room. There's actually more room on this side. But yeah, this is a great thing about Camaros too, is they just kind of like fall apart. Any 90s model GM, you'll see this issue, but who cares? Couldn't quite find much of anything else that's quite more interesting to talk about, but might as well talk about the interior. Interior is a pretty good design. You got decent room in the back, so you could actually put 2 people in the back. I normally don't do that though. You do need to move the seats up a little bit, and also this thing has worn out shocks in the back, so you get 4 people in here or 3 people in here and you hit a bump, the rear end does knock. This is a 30th anniversary, and that's another thing I do like about that. Coinciding with the interior is the seat design there. The seats have got good bolsters to them as well. Not so much on the bottom, but plus you got a good center console in here. The dash layout and everything's pretty nice in the later model Camaros and Firebirds, which I like them a lot better than the earlier 4th gen. I don't even consider those anymore. 97 up, preferably 98 up, but yeah. Number 5, we're just going to talk about engine bay room layout. Great thing is you got enough room here for a turbo if you wanted to. Plus this 3.8 V6, combined with the manual Border Warner or Tournament T5. This thing's not too slow, nor is it too fast, but it's not horrible for a V6. It's about 200 horsepower, I'm guessing, just based off feel, which isn't bad for late 90s and early 2000s V6. Obviously the V6 Camaros now, even the 4-cylinder produces more power than that, but hey, but yeah, I like a lot of good access to a lot of things for the most part, unless you want to start working on anything back there, but everything on the front here, which is your main wear items like the water pump, AC compressor, alternator, thermostat housing, all that stuff is really easy to get to. Coil packs are right there on the top above the driver's side valve cover, which I like that. See, I got a new alternator on it. Thinking about adding the 5 things I hate in this video as well, because I'm seeing a lot more things I hate than I do like. To be honest with you, I'm not a big 4th gen fanboy, but yeah, let's just go ahead and talk about the 5 things I hate about this car. Like I said, those are a little bit easier to come by with these cars. I've just been having buyer's remorse and stuff on this car, so I find easy things I don't like about it over the past few months I've owned it. Number 1, big issue for these cars is they overheat. Specifically talking about the 3.4 in the early models and the 3.8s. So if you get one of these hot one time, which their normal running temperature is about 210 degrees. Now I did replace that thermostat to get the, to make sure I knew what was in it, make sure it worked properly. And it's a 190 degree thermostat. So these engines run about 210 degrees. If you think about buying one of these, go ahead. If you find a decent car for a decent price, like I did, I'd go with it. But you need this. That aluminum radiator out there, that makes a world of a difference. This thing running down the street stays at a good cool temperature. You start sitting around, it comes up to 210. The fans come on and it goes straight back down to like 170. So you must have that radiator upgrade if you have one of these. While we're under the hood, I'm going to go with number 2 on the things I hate about this car. And that's these cooling lines right here. I've had a hard time trying to find these in the past on previous cars like this I've owned. I've actually had these bust. I haven't had these bust on this car, but on one of my past cars that had a 3.8 in it as well. It was an auto Camaro, but these hoses would bust left and right. You obviously see this one is busted and someone put a piece of pipe in there. They got these weird connectors. I'm not exactly sure how these work. Oh, okay, there we go. Metal retainers. But yeah, those suck. First thing I hate, I hate how far back the engine is. I talked about how great that is for some things, but it's also bad because it makes it hard to work on it. Spark plugs, pulling the intake, anything like that, you might as well pull the engine. And to pull the engine, you have to drop the K-member, as far as I know. No es bueno. 4th thing I hate is the dash pads. These dash pads, they crack very easily. And these little vents right here, they break off. Let's just go in the car and look at those. So yeah, you can see just how craptacular these dashboards are. These dash pads are about $400. That kind of goes back to the same thing we learned a lot in school, was supply and demand. If you got a high demand for something, you're going to charge a lot for it. So most people don't replace them unless you got a really nice like SS car or something. Then obviously it makes sense to drop the money into it, because it will make it a little bit easier to sell. But a lot of people just take a dash pad cover, here comes a truck, and put over it. He's gonna stop, I knew it. There's a lot of things I don't like about this car. I'm just going to end it here with number 5. The steering wheel is horrible. It's ugly. Foam separates from the metal core. The airbag has like little plastic ribs in it or something, and they pop when you push your finger into it. The horn is doesn't always work. Just the way it's designed is very weird to me. I never really was a big fan of this steering wheel, but the 98 and up steering wheel is a lot better than this one. So if you wanted to stick a factory style steering wheel with an airbag in it, I'd recommend going with one of those in these older cars, because these are just ugly. Also, I'm going to add in, if you have power windows and power locks, these panels right here will contain those controls. Locks will be down here and windows will be right here. These panels will break. If you get one and that panel is still flush like mine is, there's a good chance there's glue or something holding it on, because they pop right out. Every single one I've owned that has electric windows and electric door locks, this is just popping out. So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Love-hate relationship with these cars, but makes a fun daily driver, I guess. Be better if it was a V8, but get the V8 car at the house. So tell me what you think about these F-bodies down in the comments. Leave a like or a dislike, whatever, I don't care. These cars are fun to drive every once in a while. They make it okay daily. They get okay-ish gas mileage. But hey, it's all about what you like. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.